Hey Riley Besties, welcome back to the Writing with Annie podcast, where we talk about all things writing. In today's episode, I'm going to be getting you out of a writing slump, a creative burnout, whatever you're going through, because I feel like this time during the year is definitely the time to start feeling a little bit exhausted, to be honest. Literally just today I finished my last finals for my second semester, and I am literally like, my brain is dead. So I very much need to hear this right now. And I feel like creative burnout is a sort of thing it's so complicated because you love your work so much, yet you cannot for the life of you write a single word. And I understand exactly what you're going through, bestie. Like, don't worry, I completely understand what you're going through. So today we're going to get into like 10 plus ways to get out of a writing slump. Could be a reading slump too, but these are real practical ways to get you guys out of your slump and to actually start to write your book and finish it, because it's the end of the year now and we really need to get a draft done. Come on guys, we can do this. So let's go ahead and get started. I do want to say also, my hair's a bit weird. I don't know how I feel about it. It's cute. It looks like I'm literally 2 years old, but I kind of love it. I miss my long hair. If you guys don't know, I cut my hair to like just over my shoulder, and I used to have like it down to like my bottom of my rib cage. I miss my long hair so much, but I needed to cut it because it was just not healthy. So I will hopefully be growing this throughout next year and it will get back to the way it was. Anyways, sorry if these little buns, it's already falling out. You know what? I'm going to take them out. I don't like them anymore. I regret that. Anyways, let's get on to the episode. I'm sorry for being so chaotic, but I have a whole like note right here that I particularly created for you guys, specifically also because I literally cracked the code and I know exactly how to get out of a writing burnout. So like this stuff is like for real, because I literally just got out of my own, which was like oh my gosh, like half a year long. I swear, like ever since I came back from the Netherlands, I've been in just a huge slump, and it's for a lot of different other reasons, but it was just because I was just not doing these things that I have on these lists. So let's get on to the episode and let me stop rambling. Okay, let's go. So what's the definition of a burnout? So creative burnout is a state of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion that can occur when feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or bored by your creative work. And I have what's it called when you like get diagnosed? I have not diagnosed this problem, but I think you can usually split why you're feeling burnt out into 4 categories, and you can be more than one, and that includes 1, exhaustion, 2, boredom, 3, lack of motivation, or 4, confusion. Think about that. Think about maybe which one you're going to be kind of focusing on, because I have 3 different tips for each of these categories depending on why you're burnt out. So let's first talk about exhaustion, which is probably a majority of you guys, which you just feel really tired mentally and just generally. So the first thing that I really encourage you guys to do is to take a conscious break. Literally take a conscious break. Like, don't just take a break like, okay, I'll take a break from writing for like a week. No, make sure it's conscious. And what I mean by that is, like, sometimes even when I just take a break during my day, I usually just go on my phone and like do stuff, you know what I mean? And it doesn't feel like a break, because I haven't told myself like, Anna, okay, you get to have an hour to spend on your phone. Go ahead, go get loose. Like, you're literally like doing that to a kid, which is you. Like, I think it's so great to have a conscious sort of like self-care day or self-care week that you can be conscious that, okay, I'm not spending time doing this, like writing. I'm instead treating myself to having nice tea or playing a game. Be conscious that you're using that time to free yourself and like relax from writing. If you don't, then it's kind of useless, if you know what I mean. I think this is really overrated. Like, really make sure that you have like something in your, I don't know, just basically in your schedule, just saying like break from writing. Like, this is my day to have a break from writing. That's why people go on writing retreats, not just holidays. You know what I mean? Wait, no. Writing retreats, you actually need to write. Not just talk about your stories with your favorite people. I did not know that. Okay, next thing is to try another creative outlet. So this is completely if you're like exhausted with writing, but you're still kind of wanting to do something creative. Try poetry, try painting, try coding. I don't know, do something else creative. Even learn a new instrument. I love to really focus on poetry whenever I'm burnt out, and truly throughout my like 6 months that I was burnt out this year, I definitely lean so heavily on my poetry, and I'm so glad I did, because although you're kind of neglecting writing, you're also creating, this new hobby, this new skill that can help you with writing, and that's creative things in general. If you're very good at coming up with chords, for example, that can help that quick like sort of muscle in your brain that you can use while writing, that sort of idea. And that's what I felt a lot with poetry, with my sort of intuition and my intuitive way of how I write poetry. I do want to say quickly that I do have a video coming out soon. I filmed it ages ago. I'm just still editing it, where I talk about my poetry update, like process and everything like that. So I'm very excited for that video, but stay tuned for that, because I know a lot of you guys write poetry as well, which is epic. Okay, the next thing we have, sorry, I'm just like trying to continue because we have a lot of stuff to go through. The last thing is oh my gosh, this is actually the main point. This is the main thing that got me out of my reading and writing slump. And that actually is ta-da! I have a book right here. If you guys are just listening to this, you won't see this amazing book in my freaking hand. But the next tip is to read the book that got you into reading or writing, or just stories in general. And it's this book for me. I remember reading this. It's like my first like sort of fantasy. I don't know if you guys know, I'm obsessed with Laini Taylor. I think she is just the most beautiful writer with the most unique ideas, that when I read her works, I'm just like, yeah, this is the world I want to be in. Yeah, this is the sort of book I want to write. So this particular book, oh my gosh, I haven't even read a book. Like, I thought I lost my ability to read and finish books, because I'm currently reading like 9 novels that I haven't even finished. But I started this one, and I never, ever, ever reread my books at all. So this was really new, but I had faith, and it worked. I basically loved this book. I loved it so much. I just recommend it in general. But what is that book? It can be just a childhood book. Like, it could even just be like a C.S. Lewis, like, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. Whatever your vibe is, that is the book that will get you into your reading or writing. Again, I promise you. I truly promise you. So that is the last thing. That if you're exhausted, just read that book, and truly you'll find that creative fire coming back. Okay, let's move on. Sorry also, this episode's so chaotic. Can I look, as I said, I just did my exam, so my brain is not okay. Next is boredom. So if you're bored of your project, this is obviously when you feel like this book maybe is not very fun. I feel like I'm really bored and I can't be bothered, basically. Something you can do is actually change something about your writing routine, or something about your writing. You can do this by just changing up your routine by, I don't know, kind of lighting a candle every time you write, or changing where you write. Go to a cafe, a new library, somewhere like that, or maybe write with something, like someone, or even online, like go to a live write with me or something. There's heaps on YouTube. But another thing I also had on this list was how you can actually just change the font of your project. This is so weird that it kind of works. Like, I know a couple writers use Comic Sans for some reason, and that kind of just like freshens up your manuscript. Sometimes if you're just seeing the same font, the same writing for over, so many times, it gets really boring. So just like kind of change up the font, even maybe just change up your like dark mode, light mode, maybe that can help as well. Or just like write somewhere different in the house and just like try to spice your writing routine up. Try to do something weird, something cool, something that makes you excited about writing, or like even just listening to a new playlist that you made for your book, or I don't know, just doing something bizarre. Maybe stand up while you write, or buy one of those thingies that you can walk on as you're writing. Do something crazy like that. So that is the next thing. If you're bored, another thing you can do is actually to watch movies in your genre. I think this is really great because whenever I watch movies or any sort of content in my media, I'm like, yeah, I can do this so much better. Like, what the heck? Or I'm like, wow, this is so cool. I can use these ideas and this sort of like context of just being in the world to write my book. And I see this very much through especially fantasy. I remember talking about somewhere on my podcast about The Witcher, and how like The Witcher just inspired me to like write a fantasy book and to actually continue writing Project BB. So surround yourself with media, especially shows or movies, because they're quite low, you know, they don't exhaust you, they more so hype you up. Get inspired for your genre and your particular story and just apply that to that setting and that sort of context that you're watching in. Next up is to completely transport your characters into another setting or do something crazy in your book. If you're bored of your novel, that's not a good sign. I mean, honestly, I do understand that sometimes I literally get bored of my own books because I've just read it and reread it and wrote it so much that I feel like, is this what happens? This is so dumb. That's how I feel with Ghost Side, honestly. But something you can do is to just do something freaky, do something crazy, you know what I mean? Do something that like literally shocks you and your characters. Like no one, not even you, will see that coming. Like, I mean, like kill someone off. Maybe don't actually, but it's an option. You can also change the weather. Maybe there's like a freak accident. Maybe there's a freak weather incident. Maybe, I don't know, they're somehow just in a dreamscape. What can happen that completely shifts the story, or better yet, even shifts the genre? How freaking cool would that be? Are you kidding me? That would be freaking cool. Like, imagine if a fantasy becomes like a mystery, like a murder mystery. Whoa. Or like kind of like a murder mystery becomes a fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, I see that through like a lot of like murder mysteries, but it's actually like the different like worlds, and there's a portal, and the killer's actually like, I don't know, this sort of mythical creature. Ooh. See, you can just like mishmash your favorite genres into the same book, into the literal same book that you're writing, to just change it up. And that might actually require some replotting, but it hopefully will get you excited about your book. So that is the boredom section. If you're bored, use those 3 tips. Next up, we have lack of motivation. So if you're literally just like, I can't be bothered, like I want to do it, but nothing is propelling me forward to finish this draft, to finish this book. This is what you can do. So first, you can actually talk about your ideas and your goals with people, if you guys didn't know. I did this with Ashley, one of my best friends, Ashley Faye. Go follow her on Instagram, she's amazing. But literally we had a talk because we both have been just like in study and just like so overwhelmed by like life in general and our university and stuff, that we just like got together and just like planned our next few months of writing. And that just gets you so excited. Not so you telling your ideas and your goals, but more so hearing the other person's. And that sort of exchange of ideas and promises for goals is so, I cannot recommend this enough. Like, truly, if you have a friend or just anyone creative, try to find someone and tell them about your goals, and you can just feel the commitment. You can just feel the promise of like, yeah, let's make this happen together. You know what I mean? Like, you're in this, I'm in this. Let's see how our stuff get done. And it does definitely create this form of what's it called, when you have to do it, like accountability. That's right, that you feel accountable, that you need to do it. So yeah, that's another thing you can do. Lack of motivation, you can also read and research your favorite authors, their works, or maybe, you know, interviews of them. Think about things that you want to do and you want to become. So for me, sometimes I look at like Laini Taylor, or even just like Susan Collins. Have you seen that girl speak? that woman is amazing. Like her interviews and just how they conceptualize ideas. I'm just like, I want to be like that. I want to be like someone who could who can write a book like The Hunger Games, you know? So think about quotes, think about just reading the life story of your favorite authors and just, I don't know, even be a bit delusional and pretend you're in an interview. I give that example a lot, actually. Says a lot about me. But sometimes, at least when I was definitely a younger writer, I would be like pretending in my room, like someone's asking me a question and I answer. Look, sometimes when you burn out, you need to do that stuff. You really need to just try to do everything. So that's the next thing. Okay, so the next thing is to actually reread your own work. And this will help you see your ideas and your story. And I think rereading my work makes me see the potential in it, and it makes me want to actually work on it and actually finish. And it makes me become more attached to the characters, makes me see that I've gotten this far. It's just really motivational to just see my work. Like, hey, I literally wrote all of this like chapter that I've previously like wrote, you know what I mean? Like I did that and I created this world and it's amazing and I actually do like the idea. Like crazy, right? You like your own writing. So sometimes I find myself fangirling over my own work, and that's literally the best thing, because you should be your number one motivator, and your story to be written should be the thing that really makes you want to finish and write your book. So that's if you're lacking motivation. The last thing is if you're confused, and this is sometimes the case, but basically the tips here is to figure out why you're confused, because I feel like a lot of people get stumped or kind of in a slump because they just don't know what they're doing. I found this with Project BB, where I didn't know where the ending was going to go. So I really recommend you to list goals and maybe have a vision board for your book. Create a Pinterest page, create like the vibe, really tether yourself to the story, and also to actually brainstorm chapter plots. If you're confused about the arc, you might need to replot or kind of re-outline by just casting the draft aside and just understanding where your book is going. Because if you're confused about the direction, if you're confused about the last act, the middle act, and you just like think it's not, okay, it's going to be really hard for you to write if you don't know what direction you're going. So in most cases, you're confused and you don't know what the heck you're doing. So then obviously you're not motivated or kind of inspired to write because you don't know what you're doing, and it's really, really discouraging sometimes. And I understand that it's really difficult, especially for pantsers, to continue writing when they don't know what the heck happened. And it can also just be you're confused with your documents, with where you are at with your files. So maybe even just compile your files or create a new folder. This is a reminder to save your work, please, on a different hard drive as well. But sometimes redrafting or kind of fixing up your document does help as well, more of the admin stuff of writing. So yeah, if you're confused, replot, think about what you're doing in the scene, in the chapter, and just really focus on the big scale of your story. Because once you have a direction, you can continue down that road and start writing again. So that is the whole episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this maybe helps you get out of that stupid writing slump, because I know I hate it. I hate it as well. Don't worry, guys. Like, I understand what you mean. I'm very excited to be getting back into writing because all these tips truly have helped me, especially the one about reading my favorite book. I really recommend this book. It's Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. But yeah, if that helps as well, let me know about your own tips down below. And I really hope you're able to finish your drafts this year, whatever writing project you're on or whatever journey you're on. I really hope that you get out of that slump and out of this sort of, terrible space, and just realize your love for your writing and your book, and you're able to write it and get motivated. But yeah, I love you all. I hope these tips helped, and I hope to see you in my next writing episode. Okay, bye everyone.